Okay, let's talk about the fact that whatever this kids or child-free decision is bringing up may not necessarily just go away because you've made the decision. So an example is if you are considering not having kids and what that is bringing up for you is this fear of, I'm going to be judged, I'm going to be an outsider, I'm like all these different kind of pressures around doing something that goes against the grain, the general societal grain, which is still that the majority of people do have kids. Even if you, let's say, give in and say, I'm going to have kids because that's what other people are doing and that's what feels most comfortable, that's what feels safest, this feeling of being the outsider will not necessarily disappear, especially if that feels like a trigger or a pattern for you. And what I see is that a lot of the fears and anxieties we have around this decision, whether it's looking at one side or the other, those are often patterns that are present and have been present throughout our lives. So for you, it could really be this real deep-seated fear and feeling of like, I am different, I am other. Maybe you felt excluded at school, maybe you were bullied, maybe you've always felt a little bit different than other people. And that's something that often gets like exacerbated or highlighted through this decision. So to go back to our example, let's just imagine this person says, I'm gonna go and have kids. Well, if the concern is feeling like an outsider, perhaps you end up feeling like an outsider anyways because all your friends have kids who are older. Or maybe you'll feel like an outsider because you decide to have a single child and your friends have multiples. Or maybe you'll feel like an outsider because you've decided to raise your kids a little bit different. The point I'm trying to make here is that often when we explore this kids or child-free decision, it's really shining a spotlight on other areas of our life that we could use some support with to work through and really figure out like what is actually going on, what's underneath of this, what needs to be, addressed or healed, if you will. So some food for thought. I'd be curious to know what you think in the comments and if this is something that resonates. And if you were to explore some of these fears and anxieties you're having around the decision, do you think there's like a bigger theme happening here as far as this is something that's coming up and has been showing up in other parts of your life? I'd be really curious to hear.